Welcome to Route2Wellbeing, a website that opens the door for you to find activities and services across the borough of Sandwell to help improve and maintain your health, happiness and well-being. We're fortunate to have so many community activities in Sandwell. There are loads of ways to get involved in your local area and lots of help available for many of the challenges we come across in life.
Whether you want to get active, get fit or get into sport, meet other people who enjoy similar interests to you or explore new interests, increase your confidence, your qualifications or your skills, receive advice, information, care or support. Or whether you want to support others through the hundreds of opportunities to volunteer or help out, Route2Wellbeing has it all.
Everything listed on Route2Wellbeing is open to any resident of Sandwell without needing a referral from a professional such as a GP or advice worker.
This short demo video will take you through how to use the Route2Wellbeing website to get the best out of it, whether you're looking for something for yourself or someone else.
So, let's start by going to route2wellbeing.info. You can see the homepage offers you two ways to search the site. At the top is a keyword search, which you can use if there's something quite specific you're looking for. And underneath, in the Browse Category section, there are a number of different buttons listed alphabetically. Let's scroll down to take a look at what's here. For example, you can look at counselling and listening support. If you hover over that button, you can see a short description appear, which tells you what support you can find. Helping those who need to talk through personal issues or concerns in an informal setting. Or you might want to look at the Managing Your Money button, which it describes as advice and guidance in personal budgeting, managing your money and accessing safe loans.
We're going to start our demo by taking a look at a basic search by first using the category buttons. Let's imagine I'm looking to help a friend who's been out of work for a while to find some support with their job searching. So I look at the button Finding Work and Training. We can see it describes this as helping individuals to find work or develop skills for employability, self-reliance and confidence. When I click on the button, it takes me through to this page. At the top of the page you can see a map with a number of circles and arrows on it. These show where training and employment support can be found. Just above the map we can see that it tells us how many relevant activities or services are available. In this case it says 70. The map shows you the location of the various services and activities that you've found. If you want to take a closer look, then use the plus or minus buttons on the left hand side of the map to zoom in or to pan out of the map. If you're interested in seeing what a particular arrow is showing, then simply click over the arrow and you'll see a short summary of what that service offers. Now, scrolling further down the page below the map, I can see these services listed below. Each listing tells you what the service or activity is called, which local charity or agency is running it, and a brief description of what they offer, as well as the address and phone contact details. You will see that some services list themselves phone services or websites, which mean they're not offered face-to-face. Once you've found something that looks interesting, for example this service run by the Community Connect Foundation offering employment support, you can find more details by clicking on the name of the service in bold blue writing, or the box below it which says More Details. This takes you through to a new page which gives you much more information about what's being offered. For example, you can see here the website and email details of the organisation delivering the service, the opening hours, information about how accessible it is, and a much longer description of what support's on offer. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, you will also see a map with a blue arrow on it, showing where in Sandwell you can find the service. If you want to see more or less of the map, you can use the plus or minus buttons to pan in or out of the map. If you want to use Google Maps, to look at the location of the activity or service where it's offered, you can click on the View on Google Maps button, which opens a new tab in your browser, like this.
Let's go back to the Route2Wellbeing window. The last thing to show you before we move on is the print button at the top. If you're someone who prefers to have information in your hands, you can print the page off on paper or save it as a PDF to look at on your device later. So when we've finished looking here, we can click on Back to Search Results, which returns us to our main search listing. We can carry on looking up and down the list and click through for more details on anything else that takes our interest. For example, let's look at this job club run by the Lion Farm Action Centre. Looking at more details gives us again more information about the days and times of the support, some further detail about what they offer, as well as ways of contacting them and how to find the location of the club. So when we're finished here, we can either go back to search results, or if we've seen enough, we can return to the main page, either by clicking where it says Home at the top of the screen, or by clicking on the Route2Wellbeing logo. And so, we find ourselves back where we started, on the home page.
Now, before we go searching for something else, let's take a look at a clever way that Route2Wellbeing can help you find what you're looking for more quickly. In our first search for training and employment support, we discovered 70 different services, which can be a lot to sift through to find what you want, and particularly if you want to locate some help that's not too far from home. So, to avoid you having to spend all this extra time searching, you can tell the Route2Wellbeing site exactly where in Sandwell you are, so that it can tailor its search around you. To do this, you need to go again to the top of the page and click on the button called Set My Location. You'll see this small box appear. Go first to the box at the top, click in it to create a cursor, and then start typing. You need to type in the road that you live on. No need for your house number or name. And as you type, you'll see some address options appear. Let's try it. Let's type Wallace Road. And you can see there are a lot of options on the list. Now, I know we're in Oldbury, so let's start typing Oldbury, and then you see the option appear. Click on the option. Now, you need to decide how far you want to travel to access services. Use the slider to change the distance travelled to suit your preferences. Let's set it at 5 miles. When you're finished, click on Save Location and it returns us back to the home page. And just in case you need reminding, you can see the location that Route2Wellbeing is set at described at the top of the screen. So, let's try the search again, now with your location set.
This time, let's have a look at what emergency help is available. For example, food banks or clothes and furniture projects. Clicking on the emergency help button takes us through again to the map. But this time, alongside the arrows, we can also see a small house icon, which shows us where we have set our location. Above the map, it tells us that at the moment there are 21 services in this category, but let's make the list a little bit smaller by refining our search even more. Let's click on the Set My Location button again, and this time move the slider so we're only looking at services within 3 miles of my location. Now we can see that the number of services available has reduced down to 14. In the same way, if I set my distance to a larger number, for example to 8 miles, I may get to see an even longer list. Whether you want to reduce your list down in this way or not, or just keep the long list, one thing you might notice about setting your location is that the list of activities below the map are no longer shown alphabetically, but are actually arranged with the service that's closest to your location at the top of the list. This first one, for example, shows as being 0.23 miles away from where you are. And as you go down the list, you'll notice that the places get further and further away from you. You can also see another neat advantage to setting your location when you go into the detail of a service that's listed here. When you click through and scroll down to the map at the bottom, you can not only see where the service or activity is taking place, but you can also see where it is relative to your location, shown by the house. And now that the website knows where you are, it can be even more helpful. Now when you click on the View Directions on Google Maps button, you have information provided by Google to guide you to your destination, whether that's by taking the car, walking, cycling, or taking public transport. As always, when you use Google Maps, you can now send the directions to your phone, or using the sidebar like this, you can print out the instructions for how to get there if you prefer to have a piece of paper in your hand. And once you're finished with the directions, simply click back onto the Route2Wellbeing tab on your browser to go back to the website and the information you were looking at before.
So let's go back now to the home page to look at what else we can do to help us in our search for the help we or others need. This time I'm going to imagine I'm helping someone who's come to my organisation looking for some advice, and she's looking for something quite specific. I'm going to look for help using the advice button, which includes provision of information, advice and guidance of a specialised nature. When we click through, you can see that there's lots and lots of this kind of help. In fact, it lists 115 services. I don't want to spend all my time looking through these, so I'm going to use the filtering option on the right-hand side of the map. You can see that in the blue block box. It gives me the chance to refine my search in a few different ways. You can, for example, look for services that focus on a particular gender. For example, services that specialise in supporting men or women specifically. I can also filter according to age bands, or identify services or activities that are focused on supporting people from a particular ethnic or cultural background. In this example I'm showing you, the woman wanting advice is wanting support from someone who she feels understands her situation and her culture. So I use the filter around ethnicity focus and pick from the list Pakistani. You can see that the list of support has now reduced to just 5 services. She also asks if she can have an organisation that specialises in support for women, and I can add a second filter to take account of that using the gender focus. We now have a much more manageable list of just one service, and my client can find some support that she's confident will really be able to help her.
Next, we're going to have a look at a different way of searching for support, this time using the keyword search. Let's start by going back to the home screen. Again, use the logo at the top of the page or the home button. So looking at the bar across the top, you can see a white box which invites you to choose one word that describes what you're looking for. We know that sometimes you're looking for something specific, but you're not sure which button you might want to pick, as the buttons only have very broad descriptions of the activities underneath them. So let's give it a try. Let's imagine you're looking for some very specific activities for someone who wants to get active and meet people in a fun or social setting. Let's try using the word friendship. Simply type it into the keyword search box and press return. Now you can see 9 activities which describe themselves with the word friendship. These might be anything at all, for younger or older people, or a description used within a particular kind of activity which might not appeal. But if it's a long list, you can always use the blue filter that we showed you just now to focus in for example on a particular age range or ethnic group. In my example here, the person is an older person and it's quite easy scrolling down to see a few things here that might appeal to them. Let's try again, this time using the word football, because that's something the person's interested in. You'll see 22 activities listed, including coaching and training, youth work, community activities, and even walking football. And let's try a final activity, looking at the word bingo. And bingo, here they are, 5 different opportunities to meet people over a game of bingo in a number of different settings across the borough.
Another reason for using the keyword search is when you're trying to find something specific for someone, which is about them and their situation. You might, for example, want to look for activities related to caring for someone who has dementia. A keyword search on the word dementia shows that there are currently 18 services, including dementia navigation, how to access support available locally, support for carers, home support and activities. Thinking about someone who might be struggling a bit with bills and heating their house, they might want to do a search on the word energy. This gives us 17 results, and again we can filter these or just look for those close to home if we want to. The keyword search is there to help when you think there's something very specific that you're looking for and when there's no obvious button to guide you where to look. It does rely on the words that organisations and groups use to describe their activities. So this means sometimes if they've used a different word to the one you've chosen, their activity might not show up in the search results. So, if you can't find what you want first time, how about thinking of a similar but different word and try again? Or have a think about which button is most likely to list what you're looking for.
Finally, before we finish this demo, I want to show you a few important buttons which you can find on the home page. These are the 3 buttons outlined in orange, not blue. The first button is the View All button. When you click this, it does exactly what it says. It allows you to view all the services and activities on the website, as you can see by the map showing all those arrows and circles over Sandwell. As we've already demonstrated, you can either zoom in on the map to have a look at what's there, or you can see the list below the map to look through what's on offer. And you'll probably want to practice your filtering skills here to reduce the list down using the blue filter bar as we showed you previously.
Going back to the home page, now to the bottom of the list, there are 2 other orange buttons. Clicking on the first of these buttons opens a new window and takes you to another website called Sandwell Family Life. This website runs on the same kind of lines as Route2Wellbeing website, with buttons on the home page and the option to search using keywords. But this time the site offers much more for children and young people and their families. So, if you're looking for activities for children and help for families, give the Sandwell Family Life website a try.
Our last button again takes you to another website. This time it's the Let's Go website, telling you about opportunities to volunteer and help out. Let's Go is a great place to look if you want to have a new experience, meet people and make friends, learn a new skill or gain something for your CV, or just give something back and get involved in your community. Let's Go lists literally hundreds of very different opportunities that can help you get involved within your community, either as a one-off or as a regular volunteer. There really is something for everyone here. Like on Route2Wellbeing, you can use the big buttons on the website to guide you. You can simply opt to browse through it all and filter your search down as you go. Or you can use a keyword to search for a role or organisation you specifically want.
So that brings us to the end of our Route2Wellbeing demonstration. We hope you found this video helpful, but if you do need any more support in using the website, or if you'd like to give us any feedback, you can contact the team that run Route2Wellbeing by emailing your questions or comments to r2w@scvo.info, or you can call us on 0121 525 1127.
The Route2Wellbeing website is created and run by SCVO, a not-for-profit organisation supporting other charities, voluntary groups and community organisations across Sandwell. Thank you for watching.